CJ Flyer back with Fire, another YouTube video. Another fight broke out in the NBA last night. It was the Houston Rockets versus the Miami Heat, and Amen Thompson was getting very frustrated with Tyler Herro on an inbounds play, grabbed Herro by the front of the jersey, got in his face. It looked like they were about to kiss. They did not kiss. Amen Thompson instead threw Herro to the ground. Herro did not retaliate. He started hopping around like a bunny rabbit, watching the action unfold as several other players started piling in. As you can see by this screenshot here, Terry Rozier jumping in. You got Jalen Green reaching in as well. And the end result of all of this, I believe it was 6 players that ended up getting ejected. And like I just said, Tyler Herro making the business decision, wanted to avoid any missed pay, missed just games, fines, anything. Did not get further involved with the incident, trying to reduce the potential penalty that he would receive. And honestly, I don't blame him, because after seeing the fight with Najee Marshall and Yusuf Nurkic a couple nights ago, there's not a whole lot of incentive to get involved in a fight in the NBA, other than to show that you're willing to stand up for your teammates, I guess. But other than that, I mean, it's just financially speaking, from a team success standpoint, it doesn't seem worth it unless you're Draymond Green, because then you can get away with anything. But that being said, with all of these fights happening recently, because it does seem like there have been quite a few fights going on, I thought, why don't we go ahead and discuss, should the NBA embrace fighting? Because I've also seen some discussion online from people, including some friends of mine, that have mentioned, hey, this is pretty exciting. Maybe this is what the NBA needs to do to get the TV ratings up, because everyone's been talking about how the ratings are garbage, how the NFL and college football are overshadowing NBA. Heck, even baseball at times had been overshadowing. Of course, as World Series just happened. But that being said, a lot of talk about the NBA TV ratings dwindling a bit, and what can the NBA do to get eyeballs on their product. And so I wanted to discuss today the reasons to support fighting in the NBA and the reasons that the league should be against it. I just want a quick little breakdown here, and then I'd want to discuss in the comment section below with y'all, what do you think about fighting in the NBA? And I'm going to reference the Malice in the Palace quite often for the remainder of this video. Obviously, that is like the supreme example of a fight that has happened in the NBA. That is like the number one instance of a fight and how far things have escalated. That's like a worst case scenario for a fight. Fans getting involved, fans getting hurt, potentially sent to the hospital, players getting involved with the fans throwing all kinds of projectiles onto the players, just the whole game falling apart completely. So that would be worst case scenario, is Malice in the Palace. And I believe the reason the NBA has been strictly against fighting and put such, I would argue, severe consequences onto fighting. I know 4 games for Najee Marshall might not seem severe. He just landed 1 punch, and to be honest, it wasn't, in my eyes, it was a minor incident, personally. And that 4 games seemed a bit excessive. But I digress. So, let's go ahead, talk about first reasons to support fighting in the NBA. Again, I will go further into why I think the NBA's been very strict against fighting in the past couple decades. But first, let's talk about reasons to support fighting. So one comparison that I've heard quite a bit is hockey, the National Hockey League. And I'll be the first to admit, I don't have a lot of experience watching the NHL. I've been to 1 NHL game in my life. And so that's the only experience I have. That's the only background knowledge I have as far as hockey goes. However, I am aware that the NHL seems to embrace fighting a little bit more than the NBA does. In fact, they will allow players to just go at it. So reasons to be in support of fighting. Clearly, hockey fans enjoy it. Would basketball fans enjoy watching their players on their favorite teams fight each other? I think it could spark a little bit of excitement. So let's start reason number one. And let's just say that reasons for fighting is added excitement and drama, right? Because we can never get enough drama in the NBA. With all the trade rumors, with all the, is this player going to sign with this team, with that team? Oh, this player doesn't like these guys anymore. He wants to leave this team. Oh, he wants to get paid more money. Oh, Draymond Green just punched Jordan Poole in practice. So, and just adding on to the drama that already exists in the league, except instead of Gossip Girls level drama, we got more violent action going on. We got punches being thrown. We got tackles. It's WWE drama, not Gossip Girls drama. So that's what we got going on with fighting in the NBA. That would be number one reason to have fighting, is the added excitement and drama. Obviously, with that added excitement and drama, potential for ratings to go up, potential for improved TV ratings. What other reasons are there to support fighting in the NBA? Right? Those are the top two I can think of. I guess outside of that, I can't think of a lot of reasons, to be honest. Those would be the top two. That, not to say that those are bad reasons or that they don't hold a lot of weight, because I think these two kind of go hand in hand. But these would be, in my eyes, the main two to support allowing fighting in the NBA, is the added excitement and drama, potentially improving your product, which then improves the TV ratings. So let's go ahead and again, if you have any other reasons that I can't think of off the top of my head right now, go ahead and list them in the comments, and I'd love to discuss. But those are the top two I can think of right now. I can't think of a third at the moment. But if I think of a third while we type up reasons to be against fighting, I will certainly start to list it. So reasons to be against fighting. First of all, I think the NBA, the league, wants to avoid Malice in the Palace 2.0, aka fans getting involved. So something that we have to comment here, because again, there's been this comparison drawn to hockey as far as, well, the National Hockey League lets their players fight. Well, they also have a physical barrier separating the fans from the ice rink. So in the NBA, that's definitely not the case. You got fans sitting courtside, like a couple feet from the sidelines. You got the cameramen sitting a few feet back from the baselines. I mean, we've seen before players driving on a fast break and they accidentally collide with some fans, collide with some cameramen, completely unintentional. It's just because everyone's so close to the court. Could you imagine if a fight broke out right near one of the team benches? You're going to have, you got families sitting courtside. It's not like these are just some random, like they're like some rich celebrities, wealthy celebrities, business people, what have you. Like sometimes it's like people's kids are sitting sidelines. So if you had a Malice in the Palace 2.0, especially with all the fans sitting so close to the court these days, you could have kids getting punches thrown at them. So for liability reasons, the league does not want to get involved there. And no one wants a physical barrier added between the court and the fans. At least I don't think so. I don't know how you would get that done, logically speaking. It would be a really goofy looking setup. You'd have an ice rink type of setup without the ice, basically. So that would be reason number one. And I'm sure a lot of arenas may not be able to accommodate for that sort of thing, especially if you want to maintain the same number of seats as you currently do for games. So, and it could ruin the viewing experience on the court. Heck, could it ruin the TV viewing experience too with that barrier? I mean, hockey gets away with it, so maybe it wouldn't be that bad. So that would be reason number one. Reason number two, star players getting injured. So we already have an issue with star players getting injured or just going through the whole load management routine. Could you imagine how bad it would be if the league started embracing fighting, right? Like I'm talking, you look at Joel Embiid. I mean, he tripped on a rope and he's out for a few games. And like there's like no one touched him. It was warm-ups. It was practice. He's out there by himself. He just tripped. Could you imagine if he got into a fight? Like he'd probably be out for a month. Not to say he's not tough or anything. It's just we already see what's going on with injuries without the fighting being embraced. Could you imagine if the fighting's embraced? So that would be a reason. And it's not even just star players. It's star players, rotation players, just anyone really. Players getting injured, affecting future games, right? So maybe that game is really exciting or stirs a lot of drama. But if half the team gets hurt, then you don't have those guys available for the next game. So that's not very beneficial to your product or to the experience at all, for that matter. And it could ruin fans' experiences that paid for tickets to see the next game, because those players won't be available because they got a few bruised ribs and black eyes in the previous game's fight. So there's another reason to not have fighting in the NBA. Third, I would say, I mean, it's kind of for the same reasons to be in support of fighting. If you have the Malice in the Palace 2.0, again, you get you basically, things escalate to a point where the game cannot resume. Having a fight that escalates, I can't spell, goodness, thank you, autocorrect, that escalates to the point in which the game cannot resume. And on top of that, refs losing control of the situation. So basically, if the league were to embrace fighting, how can the referees even make calls at this point? Like, what if you could have referees getting punches thrown at them, right? I mean, I would imagine, are the player, would a player control themselves enough to not take a swing at a referee? I guess in hockey, I don't know if that happens or not. Again, I haven't watched much hockey, so I can't speak from that perspective. So if someone has some more knowledge or some more experience viewing hockey and knows if referees ever get involved in the fights, please let me know in the comments, because I would love to hear more about that. That's actually pretty interesting to me. But yeah, just having a fight that escalates too far to where the game cannot resume. I guess this bullet point kind of goes hand in hand with this one up here. The league wanting to avoid Malice in the Palace 2.0, having fans get involved, liability issues, having a fight that escalates to the point in which the game cannot resume. Those are kind of hand in hand. So if they embrace fighting would happen more often. And if fighting happens more often, it's more likely that you're going to have a really bad fight happen, like a really big fight, right? So I would argue that last night's fight between the Rockets and the Heat was pretty mild, all things considered. Honestly, it almost seemed more mild than the fight between the Mavs and the Suns. Now I feel like I really am talking like a biased Mavs fan, because now I'm arguing which fight was more intense. Like, yeah, more players got involved with the Heat and Rockets fight, but maybe you just couldn't see it from the camera angles. I didn't feel like there was really many punches thrown to the face. One player got thrown to the ground, and then they kind of just wrestled like a bunch of school children on the floor at that point. But like in the Suns and Mavs game, I mean, slap on the face, a punch thrown at the other person's face, like that seems more intense to me. Anyways, my point here being that where were we? Goodness, I lost my train of thought. No, so the reasons to be against fighting, obviously, like, it's exciting, but the consequences if the league doesn't step in and stop the fighting could be more severe than like a 2, 3, 4 game suspension, right? So I think it's a liability issue. They don't have the equipment or the system in place like hockey does, where hockey has a physical barrier between fans and players. Hockey players are also wearing padded gear, Whereas in the NBA, the most you might have is a jock strap and a mouth guard. No one's wearing pads out there. So good luck not getting injured if you're in a fight in basketball. Whereas in hockey, at least you have some protection. So there's that aspect of it too. So players are more likely to get injured. And it just hurts your product long term then if half your league is not able to play. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you have additional reasons to be in support of fighting in the NBA, to be against fighting in the NBA? Let me know. Would love to discuss. And click one of the videos on your screen now for some more NBA discussion.